everyone. You're listening to the Caplexus podcast brought to you by Caplexus Capital. Caplexus Capital helps students and professionals build practical skills through live projects on real company mandates. But this podcast is not about us, it's about people like you. Every episode, we bring you conversations with individuals who have achieved relatable milestones, cracking a top firm or navigating corporate culture, understanding how technology is reshaping the way we work, etc. Today we have exactly that kind of case. Jaideep Lutheria is at Deloitte, one of the biggest professional services firms in the world. He's on the technology, he works in the technology side, working with Gen AI, automation, digital transformation. Now, well, we are going to talk about how he got into Deloitte, what work life actually looks like in Big Four, and how Gen AI is changing the way professionals work across industries. So, Jaideep, welcome to the show.
Hi, Vishwesh. Glad to be here.
Great. Thank you so much. So Jaideep, let's start at the beginning. What did you do? What do you do now? And how exactly did you get into Deloitte?
So I am an electronics and telecommunication engineer. So I basically
Mhm.
chose that field because I was really passionate about physics and all. But as I got into it, as I got deeper, we had a few subjects related to software development, even in electronics, and that caught my eye. So I went into technology more. I got into coding and all that. And then Deloitte came as a campus recruiter in our college. So I'm from Thadomal Shahani Engineering College. It's in Bandra. So
Okay.
Deloitte came there as a campus recruiter, and they had various roles. So they had a business technology analyst position open for us. Basically, they marketed it as a position where you mix technology with the business aspects and you sell that to the clients. So this really, it appealed to me you because as a person coming from a business family, I got the merge of both the technological aspects as well as understanding the client requirements and selling to them. So yeah, I sat for the placements and fortunately I got in.
That sounds lovely. So as part of campus late, what all rounds did you go through? What was the procedure to get into Deloitte?
So basically, I would say there were three rounds. The first was the aptitude test. So for this test, we were studying for 6 months.
Okay.
Basically, most of the companies, right, Deloitte, even TCS, Accenture, even JP Morgan and all, so they have a preliminary round. It basically is like an aptitude test. Whatever you study for your exams like CAT, GMAT and all, that, but a bit simpler, not that difficult, a bit simpler, just to, separate the crowd that has a logical thinking and that can do better from the rest. Yeah. And so the first preliminary round was this aptitude test. Yeah. After that,
Mhm.
we had the technical interview. Post that, we had the managerial or HR interview. So these three rounds were there. Um, so my college, they trained us for the aptitude test. They trained us for the interviews and all. We had alumni networks who got placed in the previous years. They used to come back. They used to tell us how their interviews and all went. They used to give us, study material and all for the preliminary test because without the help, we wouldn't know how to prepare ourselves. So we got that
Correct.
help from our college only. Yeah, Deloitte came. We cracked the preliminary test. Then we had the technical interview. So me being from an electronics and telecommunication side, I was giving a software or a computer science interview in that tech interview. So I had to
Mhm.
prepare extra to compete with the comp science and the other students that did this regularly. And then finally, we had the HR or the managerial interview. In that interview, it was like basic questions. They would
Mhm.
test your functional. They would test your functional knowledge. They would, test your check your personality if you're a good fit, if you can manage client level conversations, if you're confident enough to face the client and answer them, if you're, able to, if do you crack under pressure or not? Because these are
Mm-hmm.
some real life scenarios where, the client would try and pressurize you into getting more work out of you than they're paying you and all. So you should not crack in those scenarios. So
Right.
these were the initial 3 rounds that we had, and then they tell you the final. Yeah.
All right. So speaking specifically about the interview rounds, what's if you must have given other interviews as well, what do you think is different appearing an interview with a Big Four, a company like Deloitte compared to others? And what did you do differently? How did you prepare differently? And how should the aspirants that are starting now who aspire to get into these firms, what should they do differently?
So to tell you honestly, I've only ever given 2 interviews. So the first interview I gave was for Deloitte. I got in, luckily. And the
Okay.
second interview was for another Big Four. They had approached me, but
Mhm.
yeah, the final logistics did not match. I did not want to go to a location that they wanted. So yeah, um, but a piece of advice would be work on your linguistic skills, work on your
Mhm.
logical skills. We have people who would be technically better than me. We have people who would be technically better than you. But if you're not able to present your ideas to your interviewer, if you're not able to express what you want to clearly, that creates confusion, and that also creates counter questions, which you will not be able to handle if you're not able to express yourself clearly. So work on those
Mhm.
skills, communicate clearly, be clear, think clearly. You should always know what you want to say before your mouth starts blabbering. So,
Correct.
like, this is the most basic advice, and it is the most important in a country like India, where people struggle to, communicate in different languages.
That's wonderful advice, honestly. So now that you've got in, it must been around over 4 years since you're working over there. So how's it been? How's the work culture? How's everything working with Deloitte?
Oh man, sometimes it's hectic, sometimes it's the best place to be.
Uh,
For example, yeah, I work at Deloitte USI, right? So we handle US, European client bases. So
mhm.
let's say November, December, right? It's Thanksgiving, Christmas. At that time, you're happy. You just have so much work-life balance. You're happy. You're blessed to be here. But at the same time, we have hectic working hours as well. So, for example, if your project goes live, you would be on a 24/7 support. You have to do night shifts. You have to log in early at 6 a.m. You have to log out late. I mean, you're working eight to 9 hours only, but you're working in shifts. Like if I'm working in the
Right.
6 a.m. shift, then you're getting the night shift, something like that.
Mhm.
And even you have to support on the weekends and all. Um, but other than that, the culture, it's really good because you get to work with professionals who
Mhm.
were at your age. They live the same life as you, and now they have grown. You join as an
Correct.
analyst, and then you get promoted to consultant, senior consultant, manager, technical architects. 15 years, 20 years of experience. You get to work with them. You get to face the clients. That is an interesting aspect of the work that I do because
Mhm.
I'm facing the clients. The clients just come on that call and they rant about their business problems, man. It's
Right.
they start venting and ranting that, oh man, these users are not receiving their invoices. Uh, they share their issues. Then they also, explain their whole business process to you. For example,
Mhm.
worked with a client in pharmaceuticals. I've worked with a client that sells forest products. So, as a technology person, as an engineer, I would have no idea how a forest product business runs. But they come
Right.
in, you fix them, they explain their complete business process, they explain what they do, and there you have to apply your own common sense, I would say, or your own, functional skills to understand their business and translate those business problems into technological solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So this end-to-end process, the whole end-to-end process, something that gives me exposure that makes me understand different kinds of businesses as well as how I can help them with technology.
Right. Fair. What do you believe is the hardest part for you about this entire culture?
The hardest part, I would say, the hectic work hours, man. You have to manage somehow. You have to manage the balance between your work and your life because working for US clients or European clients, it's not easy because you have started your day at, let's say, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and
Mhm.
it's 6 p.m. You are about to wind up, but they log in at that time. And
Correct.
those are the main hours when, you are able to communicate with your client, you're able to share your ideas, you're able to hear their issues, and then you have
Mhm.
to, you can't simply join those calls, listen to them and log off. You have to think about what you're going to present to them tomorrow. You've heard their problems,
Mhm.
you're going to log off, but your mind is still there that, okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can use this tool, I can use that tool, and then I can support them, help them in some way. So, that you have to do all that. You always be presentable. You have to always communicate thoroughly. You have to think clearly in all those client-facing roles. But at the back end, you
Mhm.
also have to upskill your technological skills because there could be a problem that the client gives you, and if you're not technologically sound, you will never be able to help them because you should know how many tools are there, how many varieties or variations of tools are there that you can use to solve a particular problem, and you have to choose the best out of them. So you have to be good at decision making. You have to come up with the technological designs. You have to implement them
Mhm.
properly. So all this combined, you have like what is the word for it? You have to be a jack of all trades, and you also have to be a master of them all.
Fair,
You
fair,
can't
fair.
be a master of none.
Correct, correct. So have to be a perfectionist almost.
Yeah.
Fair. So on day-to-day basis, how does a working day look like for you? Or does it alter every day according to the client needs and what projects are working on, or there is some sort of synergy?
It depends on the project you're in. It depends on the client, what the client wants, and the main thing would be, I would say that you'd have consistency for a couple of months. Like when you're in the building phase, you have consistency. You know your goals. You know how to achieve them. You have your weekly goals, right? And then that phase gets over. You go into the testing phase. So in the testing
Mhm.
phase, things become more hectic because your QA team, basically quality assurance team, yeah, they will test scenarios, they'll test the edge cases, they'll test everything. If you get defects or bugs, you'll have to fix them. Majority of the times, what happens is when the QA team tests, you get a defect, you realize, okay, this was not the requirement. This is a wrong defect that they've raised. This is incorrect. Then the client logs in, they see this, and the client says, okay, actually, I want this to function this way. And that's a enhancement now. So they're changing the
Right.
requirement after you have built it, right? They have paid you a certain
Fair.
amount for a build, and now they have come up with an enhancement. And now you don't have the time to build it again. Correct. Now it at this time it gets hectic. So
Right.
we call such things as a change request. We charge the clients extra for this because
Mm-hmm.
what happens is uh, when a change request comes in, right, you have a short period of time to implement that and to get it tested as well.
Right.
It's a very short period, right? So during this phase, your work hours get hectic. You might be asked to extend, you might be asked to support on the weekends and all. So this phase is a bit hectic. At that time, there's uncertainty when you will log off and all. So after this, the next phase that comes is the going live. That means whatever you have built, whatever you have tested, your whole product goes live. The client, the customers of your particular client, they start interacting with your product. And now
Mm-hmm.
what happens is you have built the project, like you have uh, put in the code. So you are now trained. You know what happens when you click this button. You know what
Right.
happens, which data you have to fill for this to work correctly, right? But the customer does not. So I'll give you a simple example, right? Mobile phone, yeah, phone numbers. The
Mm-hmm.
format that we use in India is completely different to the format which is present in the US, right? In the
Correct.
US, they have five or six different formats for the same phone number. You know,
Mm-hmm.
for the first three digits, they'll add brackets or they'll add a hash in between. You never know
Right.
what format a customer prefers. So your code base needs to handle all those formats. A phone number can't be
Mm-hmm.
more than 10 digits. A phone number can't have four dashes or hashes. It can only have two, right?
Correct.
Uh, the whole formatting and also your code base needs to handle all of this for millions of users, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this goes live. The customer starts using now. A customer, we see them as a curious kid. They'll click on all buttons. They'll input the wrong data. They'll do all those things. So your code should not break in all those things. But what happens
Right.
is uh, when a million people use it, one of them will find an edge case which you missed, which the QA team missed, which even the client missed.
Um, uh,
Those things come back to us, and those things need fix as soon as possible because now the project
right.
is live.
Continue
If
that.
that, yeah, if that comes at 4 a.m., you have to support it at 4 a.m.
Correct. So
Yeah,
with
so
this aspect, and our generation is very much concerned that there are two side of this thing, that you need work-life balance or you need to hustle in your initial years. You can't be like I won't check my emails after 10 p.m. or after I log off or anything like that. Or I won't work on weekends. So what do you believe? Which side should be on, especially during the early days of your career?
I mean, what I have observed is the person that hustles during the early days of their career are the same people who will have the best work-life balance during the later days of their career. You know,
Right.
so like for example, when I got in, right, I would be assigned a defect. I wouldn't know where to look. I am out there looking for help from my seniors. I'm asking for help. Googling how to do this, how to do that. But now when a
Right.
defect comes in, or like an enhancement comes in, I will know everything. Like I'll know where to look. I'll know how to check. I know how to resolve it within minutes. I won't be stuck there for hours and hours. So what I feel is, if you're good at your job, you'll finish it in the 8 to 9 hours. You'll finish it in your workday. If you're not that good at your job, you will be asked to extend, which I feel is like um, now there's two ways to that. You can either be like I'll work from 9 to 5 and then I'll log off, or you can
Mhm.
hustle in your starting days. You can stay late hours. You can learn, and going forward, you know exactly where to look and you can log off earlier. So there's two different answers to this. Depends on what you prioritize. You can either get good at your job by hustling earlier, or you can, take your time and log off early.
That is honestly a very amazing take on how things should be viewed as. A different take, honestly. So now let's get into Gen A or AI in general, automation tools, and how is Deloitte using it right now?
Oh, so I'll tell you, you'll be surprised. Um, Deloitte USI, I mean Deloitte in India, they have banned
Mhm.
all the, AI tools. We can't access ChatGPT, we can't access Claude, we can't access any form of AI, especially Chinese
Okay.
tools are banned because it's
Fair,
USI, right? DeepSeek and
fair.
all, everything is banned, right? Um, but Deloitte has built its own tool. So we have got Sidekick, and
Mm-hmm.
Sidekick is basically a wrapper, and it is a wrapper, and it's wrapped around ChatGPT. It has Claude, it has all the latest uh, Gen AI tools which the people use, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
this Sidekick basically uh, what Deloitte does for in India is basically if I take my code, I paste it in ChatGPT, and I ask it to correct it, or I ask it to modify it. Now ChatGPT has real time client data,
Mm-hmm. Correct.
which is not fair for the it's not fair to
Sensitive
the client.
data. Right.
So Deloitte has its own wrappers. There's like limitations to what you can post on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like coders or software developers in Deloitte, they can't post ask the Sidekick, the tool that Deloitte has. We can't ask it to code. We have to do it
Right.
ourselves. If we post the code, it simply comes back to us with an answer that um, I can't help you code. Basically, yeah, that's the answer that it has. But it can be used for other things, it can always help you in your presentations. If you have to present, technical solutions, you can
Mm-hmm.
format those documents and all that, right? It's an
Right.
amazing tool for other aspects, but as a software person, it's not for us. Um,
Fair.
Let me add to that. As part of the software team, what we have is a Deloitte internal tool. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we have both. It is a wrapper around GPT as well as a wrapper around Claude. We can connect it to our VS Code. All the software techies, they would know VS Code is an IDE, and you start with that. So
Right.
we connect to the VS Code, and it's called Codify. So what it does is, suppose the client comes back to you with a Figma diagram. This
Mm-hmm.
is how the web page should look. This is how the application should look. All you have to do is take a screenshot of that, you post it on your Codify, and it codes the
Mm-hmm.
exact same front end for you. So a task that would take me 3 weeks, it does it in minutes.
Fair, fair. Okay. So coming to the most prevalent question that has been revolving around the industry, do you think that it's gonna take jobs or replace jobs?
Um, I do not think so. Like, I have an optimistic idea towards it. I'll tell you what. So, when the whole AI bubble started, right? When the whole, on all social media platforms, it was like AI is going to replace your job. You go buy farms. AI can't grow crops. It's good to be a farmer than be in the tech industry and all. I saw all those memes. Um, but this is coming from one of the technical architects where I work, who I respect a lot. So, what he told me is they saw a similar bubble during the dot com bubble burst in the 2000s.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, you and I were kids, we were just born during that time. But these are folks who got through that dot com bubble burst, And what he told me is, at that time they saw a similar, situation. Businesses were struggling. They were scared that,
Mhm.
because of this new internet thing, because everyone is trying to take their businesses online and all, they'll be left behind. But that wasn't the case when the dot com bubble burst. The main thing is the companies that actually added value, they survived that dot com bubble burst. There are
Correct.
big companies. I'm sure the audience can come up with at least 10 big names that made it big even after the dot com bubble burst. And the companies, that were overvalued, or like that did not actually provide value, they were just sitting high on valuations based on, tech lingo and all that. Those companies struggle. Now, people who
Correct.
did not have the skill, they obviously got fired. They were not able to adapt. But the people who worked hard, the people who were willing to learn, the people who, had the skill within themselves, they survived that as well. So similarly with AI, I feel that it's going to be the same. The companies that provide value, the people who are actually skillful, who know what they're worth, who know the value that they can add, uh, they'll still survive. But the people who just AI, they just use it for everything. They don't learn anything themselves. They don't upskill themselves. They are going to struggle. So,
Correct.
a great example would be, like I told you, right? You give AI a picture and it will do the front end coding for you, right? Now, the front end
Mhm.
is fine, but what about the security at the back end? That has to be, it still has to be someone, a developer's own hard work that needs to go there. Because if the security or the backend is built by AI, then that can also be hacked by AI. So you need to have those things. If AI is writing the code for you, you need to have seniors who go through that code, who understand the best practices that the software side of your firm uses. You should know the basics. You should be able to present it. If what I have observed is many a times, AI does not understand your data model. AI does not
Mhm.
understand where the data is stored. It will write the code for you, but you have to map the code to the correct data, right? And in those cases, if you are not skilled enough, you can't even do that. You can't even change one line of code that AI has written for you. In those cases, of course, it's going to eat your job because someone more skillful is going to take it, not AI.
Right. Got it. That's absolutely correct. Where do you see tech roles shifting to in the next five odd years?
Okay, so here's a thing. Tech roles are going to shift because of AI. The junior most roles, those could be redundant. Those could go redundant because now you do not need three people writing the code, right? You can have one good person who is really skillful. He can leverage these tools and come up with better solutions, be quicker at
Correct.
solutioning, be faster at problem solving. That can happen. But even if you see that, that is only going to affect you if you are not skillful enough to adapt.
Correct.
That is how it's going to shift. The other shift that can happen is you'll get a lot of techno functional managers. So currently the trend is that managers are more functional. They have got their MBA degrees. They are good at managing people. They manage a tech team. Going forward, you can have techno functional managers who can also understand the technological aspects of the work they're doing. They're not just mere functional managers who give you a task, have unrealistic deadlines and all. There will be more techno-functional managers who will be using AI for bettering their performances as well as the team's performance.
Correct. Got it. All right. Thank you so much, Jaideep, for being here. It was honestly an incredible conversation. We got to know different perspective about a lot of different things. And thank you for being here. I would love to have you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me, giving me this opportunity to come here and share on such a good platform. It's great work that you're doing. Proud of you, brother.
Thank you so much.